Hello, my name is Sky Saxauer. I'm a model, singer, and actor, and today I'll be showcasing you some tips that I wanted to share with brand new models and for models who may not know this information. And remember, no matter what industry you're in, no matter what your craft or skill is, there is always room to grow. So this video is essentially for everyone that is a model, but if you're watching this for entertainment, I hope you get some value out of this too. So I'm a freelance model based in Orange County, and I obviously work out of LA. I've been modeling for about 6 or 7 years now. I've only been signed to one agency, however, they were a scam, and I have 3 different agencies in the past where I didn't sign a contract with them, but I worked with them, and that is called freelancing with an agent. So based off of my credentials, you can choose whether or not to listen to me and to consider listening to this information or not. I'm not an expert in modeling or in the industry, but as someone who has this unique experience of being a freelancer since I was a teenager for about 6 to 7 years now, I know that the information that I'm going to share today is definitely going to help someone. So thank you again for watching this video. So I have a long list of tips that I want to share with you guys, but before I do that, let me just explain to you how I even got this gig that you're watching right now. So as a freelancer, my goal is to constantly be working whether or not it is paid. So right now I'm at a photo shoot where I am not being paid and I am not paying anybody else. This is called a TFP shoot. TFP stands for trade for print. And the way that I find these gigs to keep myself constantly having the experience, and it's almost like I'm being trained every single time that I work with a new photographer, as well as building my portfolio because I'm constantly getting brand new photos. I find all these opportunities via Instagram, or should I say I make these opportunities. So the way that I started building my portfolio when I was about 18 years old, I would reach out to photographers on Instagram. So I would basically find anyone that has photographer and my city in their bio, and I would look through their content to basically see their portfolio. Obviously, I want to make sure that I like the photos that they're taking and that they shoot in a style that I know would bring value to my experience as a model as well as my portfolio. For example, maybe I talked with an agency and I showed them my existing portfolio and they told me, hey, we actually want to see you do more beauty shoots. I would immediately go on Instagram and look up photographers in the Los Angeles or Orange County area and look through all of their photos and see which photographer shoots beauty shoots. Then I would DM them and kindly ask them if they would work on a TFP shoot with me. For this shoot, I randomly found John Travis's Instagram account and sent him a DM, and he suggested that I go to one of the shoots that he coordinates with groups of models and photographers. One of the very first TFP shoots I've ever done was just like this, where someone organizes a meetup. In this case, we met up in a studio where there's multiple models and multiple photographers and everyone gets a turn. I don't even remember how many photographers I shot with this day. There was probably 10, and there were 3 models total. John also got us a lovely makeup artist, which is always a huge plus. So that's the backstory to the photo shoot that you're watching right now. Let's get into the tips. I am going to relay them to you in no particular order. Tip number 1, don't show up anywhere without your comp card. I don't care if the casting directions or the casting director said don't bring it. We won't take it. Bring it anyway. Be prepared. And with that, bring 2, because one time I went to a casting and I only brought 1 because I usually always need to give 1, and for whatever reason they asked for 2. So you know what I did? The next time I went to a casting for that exact same fashion show, I showed up with 2 comp cards, and then they told me we only need 1. Well, guess what? At least I was prepared this time. And for those of you who don't know what a comp card is, it is a physical paper or card that has your face on one side and 4 to 5 different photos on the other side, including all of your stats and contact information. It's basically your business card as a model. You want to bring it to every single audition. Tip number 2, do not go to a casting or open call or a fashion show with hair ties on your wrist. This one is a slightly less significant tip, I guess, but it icks me out as a model trainer. I teach this to all my students for sure, if you couldn't already guess. Nothing is wrong with showing up to the audition or the casting or the fashion show with it on your wrist. The problem is when you leave it there. I've stopped many girls from accidentally literally walking the runway in a fashion show with a hair tie on their wrist. If you're bringing it to a casting, bring it because you're gonna use it. And then right before you start walking for your audition, you should remove it and keep it somewhere. I don't know. I don't think a lot of people think of this, and I feel like a lot of people are going to hear this and not care, but I know that it makes a huge difference, and I have worked closely with a fashion designer for 2 or 3 years in the past, and I know that they care about stuff like that. So I'm just passing along that information. Do with that what you will. My third tip is always show up to every fashion show with extra heels and your entire hair and makeup kit. Now, I know this sounds excessive because obviously you are there to work and you are the model, and the expectation, especially for bigger shows and bigger productions, is that they do your hair, makeup, and they provide all of the clothes, including the shoes. However, if you're just starting out in modeling and you're working in smaller shows, or if you're working in productions like LA Fashion Week, which is not at all a small show, but this is still the expectation for them, you should be prepared and you should be able to have everything on hand just in case. Not every designer has a very specific shoe that they're looking for. Sometimes they just need a generic black or nude heel, and we as models, of course, all own those, so we just bring our own shoes. And I say bring your hair and makeup kit because sometimes these makeup artists will mess you up, and I'm telling you, nothing is worse than having makeup done on you that you don't enjoy or is just completely wrong, and you don't feel confident to go out on the runway. You think it's a huge waste of your time. It doesn't reflect you well. It doesn't reflect the designer well. You could ask the makeup artist to fix it, or you could try to go into another makeup artist's chair. But there has been times where I literally had to go to 3 different makeup artists because everyone was basically contributing to the problem and nobody knew how to fix it, or maybe they just didn't see that there was a problem with the makeup to begin with. You don't want to be in this hell of a situation. Just bring your own makeup kit because you will have the capability to walk away, hide in the bathroom, and fix what you need to fix. Going back to heels, one final thing. I want to talk about my favorite story about me bringing extra heels. So I only own 2 pairs, 1 pair of nude heels and 1 pair of black heels. And for this specific designer that I was walking for in a show in 2021, she wanted me to wear my nude heels, so that obviously meant my black ones were left over. And I overheard another model asking other models, hey, do you guys happen to have extra shoes? It was her first runway show that she had booked through her agency, and the agency didn't give her much information, and she didn't know that she should have come prepared with her own heels. So I spoke up after overhearing it. She literally wasn't even speaking to me. And I said, hey, did you need extra heels? So I let her borrow it. And then I found out that Eldon, who was coming to watch my show, had befriended a girl outside in line, and that happened to be this model's best friend. So the 4 of us were like, oh, this is meant to be. We should all hang out after this. And Eldon and I introduced them to ramen. It was their very first time having ramen. And now that girl is my best friend to this day. And yeah, honestly, that was probably one of the best nights of my life, not only because I got to walk in LA Fashion Week and open for this designer, which was obviously really cool, but like it led to this girl that is now one of the most important people in my life. So yeah, so that's just a really cute story that has to do with that tip. All right, going on to tip number 4, undergarments are essential. And what I mean by this is your choice of undergarments. Me specifically, I will only ever wear seamless nude thongs and nipple stickers. If I'm wearing something that is see-through, I want to be wearing nude underwear. If I'm wearing something that is super tight and thin, then I want to be wearing seamless underwear. And more specifically, a thong. Now, as for the nipple stickers, I highly recommend everyone get it. I know it doesn't work out well for everyone, but someone like me who's not blessed in the chest department, it is my holy grail, and I literally don't want or care to use anything else. I'm so glad that I don't have to deal with bras, the strapless bras, and having to pull them up all the time, because bras will show whether it is the print, the outline, the straps, the fabric, or simply just show through see-through garments. I keep it real simple and easy for myself so I don't have too many options to sift through, no matter the occasion, whether it's a fitting, an audition, or the actual show. I will always be prepared with only my nipple stickers and my seamless nude thong. Now, as for men, I definitely don't know as much, but I do know that they will always use fitted briefs that are either black or white, or prepare or use whatever the designer requested. Okay, tip number 5, use gel, roll-on, or spray deodorant. This might be surprising, but I'm hoping now that you're hearing this, you're understanding where I'm coming from. When you use that white, like, block of deodorant, you can tell I don't use it by the way that I'm describing it. It will pill up on your skin and it will show on your skin, or even worse, it will rub off on the clothes that you are modeling in. You do not ever want to damage designers' clothes. Using gel and spray deodorants have been a game changer for me, and I specifically like to use Dry Ideas unscented gel deodorant. This never leaves marks on any of my clothes, and I like that it's unscented because I personally don't like to mix scents. I use an unscented body lotion and an unscented deodorant, and I solely rely on my perfume. And going off of this tip number 6 is to use plain non-greasy body lotion. I learned from a designer in one of the first years that I started modeling to specifically use plain non-greasy and specifically unscented body lotion, because obviously you don't want to damage any of the clothing, especially if it's a fitting. It's just an inconvenience for the designer to be touching you and rearranging clothes on your body when the product is getting on their skin and on their garments. And unscented because, like I said before, you don't want any of your scents to be rubbing off on their garments either. It's definitely boring to use unscented lotion, but it's part of the job and the designer will definitely appreciate it. Tip number 7, and this applies to photo shoots, fittings, and auditions. I highly recommend bringing a buddy with you, but of course after you ask permission, because in the scary world that we live in, and especially with how scary this industry is, you never want to be setting yourself up for failure by going to a place that you've never been with people that you do not know for a production or an audition or a photo shoot that you have no prior knowledge about. So I mentioned that you should always ask permission first, just because I think out of respect for the other person, you should let them know that there's going to be another person on set. Now, with that being said, in my opinion, I think it would be weird if they said no to that. There was one time that I had a photographer tell me that it was too last minute for me to ask them a question like that and then change the plans, going from just like one photographer, one model, and one stylist to now 4 people because I wanted to bring someone. And they sounded a little upset. They kind of had like a backhanded remark and they were like, you know what, like let's just reschedule this photo shoot. And I don't know, that really rubbed me the wrong way, especially because I think I was so kind with my approach, and their only excuse was that the space that we were working in was really small, so having a 4th person would be an inconvenience. So after they said this reschedule, I was like, no, it's fine. Like I'm good to not work with you anymore, honestly. Another time I was messaging a photographer that I had worked with through this like big event that I've done in another state, and he's worked with reputable people, models, magazines, companies, all that. So when he messaged me offering to shoot with me, I was like, yeah, of course. And because my mom had been at the event with me where we had met him, my mom is a fan of everyone, and I know that she would love to have seen him again. So I asked him, hey, would it be cool if I brought my mom? And the way that he responded, he was like, oh, you don't need to bring your mom anymore. You're a big girl now. And I was like, red flag, red flag. I had told him like my mom just loves following me around on set and she would love to see you again. And it felt like it was a reluctant, okay, sure, she can come. I don't know, stuff like that sort of gives me the ick, especially because the modeling industry isn't always safe. And so I feel that it is everyone's responsibility, whether you are the photographer, the stylist, the model, the person renting out the studio. It's all of our responsibility to make everyone feel comfortable and to be as professional as possible. I don't know, I guess some people just don't understand where boundaries lie with new strangers and think that they could just be however they want to be right off the bat. But you know, that's just my opinion. I hope that helps, and I hope everyone tries their best to stay safe and listen to their gut feeling. And like I said, always bring a buddy. Tip number 8 is something that I believe shows your professionalism, is very classy and timeless, and truthfully, maybe it's just my opinion. Everyone should wear all black to castings, and I mean plain, no patterns, no logos, no graphics, nothing, just plain. If you're using like Lululemon leggings and I can see the Lululemon logo, I'm not mad about that. I'm talking about when people have like patterned leggings. Not that the pattern is like white or like a different color. It could also be black, but you can tell that there's a design on the leggings, or there's a large embroidery on your t-shirt. You can never go wrong with just being plain and simple. And this is what I teach all of my runway students. Tip number 9 is to wear plain heels. It doesn't matter if it is open-toed, if it has a strap or not, if it's a pump, if it's a stiletto, let it be plain, nude, or black. It doesn't matter if it's leather or patent or even suede. What I can't stand is when people show up to castings and fittings wearing their homecoming heels or like Louboutins, like they're going to some red carpet event. It doesn't matter what your job is. Always show up ready for that job. In my opinion, like I said before, the plain black outfit along with plain nude or black heels, you will look like a model and you'll look like you've been doing this forever. I promise you, I have never met a model who is much better than me, much more successful than me, currently signed with an agency, and showed up to a casting with glittery block heels. Tip number 10, don't show up late. I'm not perfect. I'm not saying I've never shown up late. I don't, however, forgive myself for it. and I definitely make it a big deal with whoever I was supposed to work with, and I've never let it become my reputation. If this becomes your reputation, or you've done it one too many times with one person in particular, such as a photographer, you will be blacklisted, or they will just choose to never work with you again. The modeling industry, just like everything else in the entertainment industry, it's not just what you know, but it's who you know. And so if you're making a bad reputation for yourself and blowing it with every single person that you meet, you're ruining every opportunity that you could possibly have. That's one less person that will talk good about you and get you some new connections and network you to other people who will offer other opportunities. It's a really significant thing for models because it is a reputation that models always show up late. Don't be that model. Break the stigma. Tip number 11 is to try to befriend as many people as possible. I used to be very closed off and very quiet at every single fitting casting audition I've ever been to. My mom and my trainer back in the day used to tell me to not make any friends, don't chat too much, stay focused, and just mind my business. Since I moved out and stopped training, I have made it my goal to befriend every single person that I possibly can in every single room I've walked in, and I can promise you that I've only ever had so many benefits from doing this. I've never had anything bad happen to me yet. Fingers crossed now that I'm saying it out loud, but honestly I can only imagine so much good that can come from it. I've gotten so many jobs from befriending people on set. I befriended my best friend that I literally just mentioned earlier in this video. I've built my entire portfolio and met with agents because of friends and photographers and stylists. Everyone literally led me to everything that I've done so far. I have produced full-on photo shoots that I have self-submitted to magazines because I had just asked, hey, do you want to do my makeup for a photo shoot? Hey, would you mind shooting me for TFP? And we create incredible work that people would pay so much money for, and these people did it for me out of the kindness of their hearts. Something beautiful that I learned from a makeup artist that I once again asked to be part of a shoot that I was producing. She was doing my makeup and I had explained how I use this process of making friends and wonderful things come from it every single time that someone helps me out. Of course, I go out of my way to repay the favor, but I'm just so grateful that they would even accept helping me in the first place. And she said, you know what they say, closed mouths don't get fed. And I literally love that saying so much. I tell it to people all the time. Another makeup artist that I once again asked to be part of my photo shoot that I was producing, she had told me that she had stopped denying offerings and free things and just kind gestures from friends, family, and strangers because she realizes that all of these are opportunities and gifts from the universe. And why would you ever deny the universe? They are literally giving you a gift. There's a purpose for every single thing that happens in your life. Not to get all spiritual, but if someone's offering you something for free, why would you not take it? If you opened your mouth and you asked for it, it's the same thing. If they still said yes, of course I'd love to do that. Why would you not take it? If they say no, okay, then move on. I'm not saying that everyone says yes to me, but I'm saying I'm pretty confident in the fact that I can just happily ask and happily take the no. It's just like modeling. You go to an audition, maybe you make it, maybe you don't, but that doesn't stop you. You just move on and go to the next one. If you could create cool opportunities for yourself because you befriended so many cool people, then go out and do it. And that concludes all of the tips that I wanted to share with you guys today. There are definitely a lot more tips that I have that I want to share, and I wouldn't rank any of these tips. Like, I wouldn't say that these are the most important tips, but I definitely think that these are helpful tips that, one, people don't initially think of or know of right off the bat when they start modeling, and two, sometimes people who have been modeling for a while have never even learned this or even realized this information. To conclude this video, please enjoy this last clip of me hanging out with one of the models that I met at the photo shoot, and at the very end, I will show some of the photos shot by John Travis. Say hi. Oh, I'm so sorry.
No. Wait, pull it. That's even better.
Okay.
Yes.
Not me modeling pizza. It's my first time having vegan pizza. That's very interesting.
Does it taste good?
Mm-hmm. Oh, the crust is very good. The cheese texture is very interesting. But I really like this flavor. 10 out of 10. I had a great time meeting Julia. That was the other model that I was hanging out with today. My phone died in the middle of shooting, but I stayed over about 30 extra minutes and I got incredible photos, and I'm so excited to show you guys. I'm really trying to practice talking to the camera, so I thought that this would be the perfect opportunity for me to just pick it up and give you guys an outro. First of all, thank you so much for watching this video and supporting me. Second of all, I really hope that these tips bring you any value. I hope that it helps shape your career, your experience as a model, and the way that you work moving forward. And I really hope that I didn't offend anybody, honestly. Listening back to my voice recordings as I was editing this video, I was like, man, I'm a little bit harsh in some of these tips and like naming some of my icks. But I'm gonna say it like every other YouTuber says, this is just my opinion, this is just my experience, and I hope you truly do understand that, because it is the truth, it is just my opinion and my experience. But if you like the content in this video, if you want to see more videos like this about modeling, about acting, about being a freelancer in the entertainment industry, please leave a comment down below. I'd love to make more videos about topics surrounding the entertainment industry. Or if you just have questions or problems that you want to ask me personally, please DM me on Instagram. But anyway, this video is getting way too long. Thank you so much for being you and being here with me. I love you guys.